lot of people ask me, Nishad, studying a language, you have some experience, do you have any tips? And I'm like, yes. After 6 years of studying languages, I have some things, I know a thing or two, So I guess there are 5 main points, that I will give advice to, that you can learn language as quickly as possible. Now, the first thing is where a lot of you people are not going to watch this video anymore, which, let me ask you a question. If you want to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible, which vehicle are you going to take? Are you going to take a vehicle that's broken down, is really slow? Or are you going to take the car or the vehicle that's as fast as possible, so you get from point A to point B as fast as possible? Obviously the second option, right? And that's how you should treat your own vehicle. There are 3 components, which most of you already know, which is, how you live your life. And it's food, nutrition, how active you are, how much you work out, and how much you sleep. Now, let me keep it simple. Eat whole foods, one ingredient foods, sleep 8 hours a night, and work out every day if possible. Doesn't even have to be a hard workout, just go for a jog, go to walk. Now, a lot of people say, Nishad, I don't have time for that. I work the whole day and then I have like 2 or 3 hours left. I don't want to, I don't have the energy, etc. Now, the funny thing is, what a lot of people don't realize is that if you treat your vehicle right, then the time that's left, even if it's just half an hour or 1 hour, will be more efficient, and you'll make much more progress than if you don't have your lifestyle in check, but you'll study for 4 hours. Now let me get to my second point. Let me ask you a second question. Why do you think that most people who study a language for several years in school can't even put a sentence together? Well, that's because the school system is teaching you things in the wrong order. Why is it that school teaches you conjugation and grammar and all that stuff from an early age? It doesn't make any sense, because remember, what's the goal? What's the first goal? The primary goal of learning a language is being able to talk and communicate with people. And that's why the base of your language learning experience is vocabulary. And that's why Duolingo is so great. Duolingo is getting a lot of hate, people say it's too basic and they make fun of people using it, which I think is so stupid, because it's the best base of entering a language, learning the basic vocabulary, and learning how to structure your language, how to build sentences, which can be different in some languages, right? And grammar is not important, because you'll pick it up. Even basic grammar like conjugation, when you learn basic vocabulary and you hear sentences, you'll learn how to conjugate. And even if you make mistakes, like, let me give you an example. I don't know. To have in Spanish is tener, right? And if you want to say I have, you say yo tengo, which is weird, right? It doesn't make any sense. But that doesn't matter, because if you say yo tengo, whatever, and you talk to a Spanish speaker, they'll still understand you. And that's why I'm saying, forget conjugation, forget grammar, and even forget past or future tenses, because you'll also learn that while just learning vocabulary. Also, just let me show you, I don't know if you can see my Duolingo streak. Now, the next mistake that a lot of people do is not looking for the right resources. And that's why Duolingo gets such a big hate. It's because people who use it or get into language learning through Duolingo, they get stuck on Duolingo. But what you have to do is you have to expand your horizon of learning your language. You have to start watching movies in your target language, in the subtitles of your target language. Also, you have to pick up books, easy books, where you can just read sentences. And that's also how you'll build your grammar. That's also how you'll build your conjugation and future tense, because you'll have the context right away. You'll understand things, and it will be easier to remember, because you already had it in a textbook or in a story that you can remember. So always look for new resources, switch it up, which also makes it more interesting. And you'll deeper your connection with your target language instead of just having random sentences in Duolingo. Now, the next problem or the mistake that a lot of people do is they don't immerse themselves enough into the language. Think about how a baby would learn a language. It would just hear the language constantly and then just pick it up, and suddenly they can start speaking it. So you have to immerse yourself into the world of the language. Now, if you live in a different country, obviously that's hard and you have to be more active. And that's when you can switch your phone into the target language. You can, as I said, watch movies and stuff, and just constantly only listen to Spanish music or reggaeton, for example, if you're studying Spanish. And then also watch movies, and if you watch movies, try to actively listen and understand the plot, even if you don't understand everything, which is totally normal. And start watching Spanish YouTubers and immerse yourself as much as into the language. Now, better even is if you know people who speak the language, so you can meet up with them, you can ask them to speak to you in that target language, or if you go to a local shop, if you have the option to talk to people in that local shop or whatever it is, just try to find those people or those resources to immerse yourself and create an environment where you're almost obligated to speak the language, and that's how you immerse yourself. And that's also the main real problem why the school system doesn't work, because you're never immersing yourself. You're just reading word after word in a textbook, and that's why you don't make any progress and you get stuck. Now, the last point is that you don't have a routine. You have to put a schedule, and you have to put a goal, not necessarily what you want to achieve, but what you put in, right? So if you say every day you have to study for 30 minutes, then you have to do it, and you have to actively put it into your calendar, because if you don't, you'll start losing track, or you lose track of your progress, and then day goes by, 2 days go by, 3 days, weeks, and then suddenly months, and then all of a sudden you're there with no progress, and you'll have to start over. And then there's this endless cycle of why people are studying a language for several years, even though it's outside of the school, even though it's by their own actions, and they don't make any progress. That's it. Now, those are the basic things, right? If you want to take it a step further, I've created a community where we help people, learning languages, especially when it comes to traveling, how to build a community wherever you go, network wherever you go into another country or while you're just traveling. And then we basically help those people and tailor a plan for them, a language learning plan, give the resources, and it's basically where you can connect with different people who can help you as well, and then where you have all the information just packed up, But that's just for people who want to really take it a step further and really specify and, make progress really quickly. But you should be fine with the basics that I've just gave you, because those are really the mistakes that most people make. And if you avoid those, I'm sure you make a lot of progress really quickly. So, and always remember, if you see beauty in the chaos, the world will be yours. Take care.